Hello friends. One of the most common questions I receive is from people who want guidance on purchasing a new camera. They may or may not already have something that they've been using, but more and more often I'm hearing from people who don't have an allegiance to any one brand. That's probably because all of the cameras on the market today are downright amazing. I mean, looking at the market on the whole, especially the mirrorless market, it's unreal. Everything is so good, but I'm finding myself more and more often recommending L-mount camera bodies and lenses because of the balance of cost, variety, and quality, as well as pushing some boundaries on technology. There are several companies that make up the L-mount alliance, but I have the most experience with Leica, Panasonic, and Sigma. Just in case you aren't familiar with the L-mount alliance, the member companies all make cameras and lenses for the L-mount, and you can use L-mount lenses from any of the brands with L-mount bodies from any of the brands. This flexibility has led us to expand our L-mount collection more than any other that we own. And a big part of this is Sigma, and in particular, their lenses. In fact, I would go so far as to say that Sigma is carrying quite a lot of weight in the partnership due to the spectacular lenses that they've been introducing, which, by the way, they offer an L-mount, but also various other mounts. Because most people are surprised when I tell them about the L-mount alliance and how you can choose from several brands when putting together your camera kit, I want to go through a relatively quick survey of some of Sigma's most interesting lenses, just to give you an idea of what is available right now. And if you aren't interested in the L-mount, I will be mentioning several other mounts that Sigma makes lenses for. First and foremost, one of our newest additions here in the studio, Sigma sent over the new Sigma 14mm f1.4 DGDN art lens. I know what you might be thinking. Such a wide aperture for a wide angle? What's it for, and why is it a larger lens? For one, this lens is for a lot of things, but Sigma has engineered it to excel with wide field astrophotography. In fact, you may have caught a glimpse of this lens in our recent video with our top tips for wide field astro. I will link to that down in the description. Is this a big lens? Yes, it is, but that f1.4 aperture at this wide focal length demands big glass, and that's what we have here. For both daytime and night sky photography and time lapses, it's really hard to beat. This lens was quite a surprise when it was announced. While there are some wonderful ultra-wide prime lenses out there right around 14mm, we never really expected that one would come to market at f1.4 and with astrophotography as its engineering priority. It has exactly what it needs in terms of glass and corrections to render beautiful night skies with pinpoint star sharpness across the entire image field. That's not easy to accomplish. And our lenses back there have varying abilities when it comes to wide open and across the frame sharpness, particularly for night skies. What I'm trying to say about this lens and about Sigma in general is that I really like what Sigma has been willing and able to do, particularly when it comes to the Sony E-mount and the Leica, Panasonic, and Sigma L-mount. And what I'm also trying to say is, dear Sigma, please keep pushing in the areas that we all want, but haven't always gotten from other manufacturers and systems. Another recent example is the trio of Sigma APS-C prime lenses that we actually used on Nikon Z-mount. While Nikon has not really been willing to build out a full DX set of lenses for their APS-C Z-mount cameras, Sigma has been willing to fill that gap with an amazing set of prime lenses, specifically for Z-mount users. Those APS-C lenses went right onto our full-frame Z7. The Z7 knows how to adjust and make using an APS-C lens virtually identical to using a full-frame lens, albeit with lower resolution. And there aren't many f1.4 prime lenses designed specifically for APS-C sensors. And Sigma makes these f1.4 primes for a number of mounts: L mount, E mount, Fujifilm X mount, and Canon, and Micro Four Thirds. How's that for bringing APS-C wide aperture primes into the spotlight across various systems? Bravo, Sigma. Most of Sigma's prime lenses fall into their Art series and their Contemporary series. The larger Art series lenses prioritize optical quality at all available apertures over size and price. And on Art series prime lenses, those available apertures tend to be as wide as f1.4 or even f1.2. The results from Art lenses are some of the best results we have ever seen, particularly when it comes to sharpness at those wide apertures. The smaller Contemporary series lenses have wide apertures as wide as f2 or even f1.4, and with the Contemporary lenses, it appears this is where Sigma balances image quality, price, and size equally. The Contemporary lenses are half to 1/3 the price of Art lenses, but still with fairly wide apertures and image quality that has us using our own Contemporary lenses quite often. We own a few: the 20mm f2, 35mm f2, 45mm f2.8, and 65mm f2 Contemporary lenses. We enjoy the small and lightweight form factor. The quality speaks for itself, and they don't break the bank. When we first used some of these lenses, Raymond said that Sigma's own less expensive Contemporary lenses are a real legitimate competitor to their Art lenses. That's quite a compliment because, as you know, Raymond can be shrewd with compliments and big on the controversies of the day. I can see exactly what Raymond is saying, and I'm also glad that Sigma does have the higher end Art lenses. We own this new 14mm f1.4 Art lens and this 85mm f1.4 Art lens, also for L mount, and for Nikon F mount, the Sigma 20mm f1.4 Art lens. We don't bring these larger lenses out every day, but when we do, it's because we mean business. When it comes to super telephoto, Sigma has the newer 60 to 600mm sports zoom and the 150 to 600mm sports lens, both E and L mounts. 600mm is twice the focal length of both Leica and Panasonic's longest options. In short, Sigma has truly built out the L mount lens selection to robust levels, classically typical of Nikon or Canon's heritage with their respective lens mounts. We have Panasonic and Leica camera bodies and freely change lenses between them. Some of those lenses being Leica, some Panasonic, but most of them Sigma. The beautiful thing is having the catalog of each of the Alliance brands to shop from when hunting for a new lens or camera body. The way we see it, and this is with all due respect to Leica and Panasonic, from a lens perspective, Sigma really seems to be the leader for that in the Alliance in terms of breadth of what is available. Don't get me wrong, we love this Panasonic 70 to 200 f4 lens, and you would have to pry this Leica Vario 24 to 90mm out of my cold dead hands. And either of those two lenses will work with Leica, Panasonic, and Sigma L-mount camera bodies. And Sigma lenses on Panasonic and L-mount cameras, you get the picture. Overall, when I look at what Sigma has done for L-mount, E-mount, and recently with those Nikon Z-mount prime lenses, they're doing the things that other camera manufacturers sometimes will and sometimes won't do. The 14mm f1.4 literally has no competition in its category. Sigma seems to be comfortable pushing those boundaries. And we all win because we have options out there to suit almost any style of photography or photographer. I'll put some links to our favorite Sigma lenses in the description, some that we have, others that we want to have, and let us know down in the comments. Have you tried a Sigma lens lately? I myself used to think of them as the budget brand that a camera salesman may steer you toward due to lower prices. Sigma today couldn't be further than that. While they do offer very affordable, high-quality lenses, they have reimagined prime lenses with the Art and the Contemporary series, and provide value and options across all focal lengths. Thank you to Sigma again for sending the 14mm lens. It will be getting a ton of use from us. I'll of course use this lens for astrophotography, but I plan to also use it for landscape and nature photography. Make sure you're subscribed so you see when my upcoming videos go live, and thank you for watching.